Hi guys, here we have a 2018 Hyundai Tucson. We are going to be doing a vacuum and a power balance test to check what a misfire does with a vacuum unit. So over here, this is where we're going to check the vacuum. Right here, it is in the manifold which builds vacuum, and we are going to be unplugging this cylinder to kind of show that there is a misfire in the engine. And we are going to get back to you while the engine is running.
So we're going to start by disconnecting this vacuum line from the intake manifold. You can hear the vacuum coming out of there, and if you put your finger over it, you can feel it too. So we're going to connect our vacuum gauge, and it goes up to about 24-ish inches of vacuum. And when we disconnect this cylinder, the engine idles down, and the vacuum also goes down as a result of it idling down. Unplugging it back in returns it.
So for the rest of the power balance test, we're going to be disconnecting each cylinder one by one to seeing if all the spark plugs fire and all the coils work in the system.
Okay, so now we're going to finish up the cylinder power balance test. And what you're going to look for is when you unplug it, the engine should idle down. So, like this, the engine idled down, so that cylinder is contributing, it's working. Now we're going to do all the other ones. This one idled down as well. And it came back up. This one also idled down, so that one's working. And the final one also idled down, so all of the cylinders are working properly.
So here we have a 2014 Ford Explorer. We're going to be doing a vacuum test at cranking, idle, 2500 RPMs, accelerating the motor, and decelerating the motor. First, when we have to do the cranking one, we have to disconnect the fuel relay, which is right here, number 15 on this Ford. For the vacuum test, we're going to connect this plug right here into this hose right here, which is in the manifold.
So now we're going to start our vacuum test for cranking. We have the fuel pump relay out from spot 15. We have this vacuum gauge connected to this vacuum hose, and we are closing the throttle on this car because it is a modern car. Non-modern cars, the throttle by default is a little bit open, so that would give you a false reading of no vacuum.
So now we're going to do an idling vacuum test. The 15 relay is back in, and I'm going to go start the car and see the reading.
So now we have the engine idling, and we're going to do the vacuum test where we hold it at 2500 RPM or a cruising RPM.
So now we're going to do an acceleration and deceleration of the engine and see what the vacuum reading is. First, I'm going to do an acceleration, and then I'm going to do the deceleration for 2500 RPMs. So we're back here in this Hyundai Tucson, and we are going to be doing a compression test. But first we have to fully have it warmed up, and after it's fully warmed up, we have to disconnect right here this injector extension cable, and then we are going to remove all the spark plugs and connect it all up and do the compression test.
So we have all of the coils and spark plugs out. We have our compression tester with the right adapter connected in cylinder number 1 right now. And we have our injector extension harness down here unplugged. So we're first going to do a wide open throttle compression test and then a closed throttle compression test.
We are going to do the compression test now with the wide open throttle. Throttle. After doing the wide open throttle test, we are going to do no throttle. Throttle.
So, as you can see, all of our compression test results were good. Each cylinder was between 175 and 200 psi, which is the specification. So now we're going to reinstall our spark plugs, torque them to 18 foot-pounds, reinstall our coils, plug this connector down here back in, and see if it runs.